Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahmami Vishnupuran Takare. Vanushashi Bamisato. Buddha Gurusha Shukra. Shani Rahu Keteva. Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om Gurave Namaha. Well, greetings. It is I, Cosmic Kev, with your weekly Astro Video Zine, Cosmic Kev 100. I encourage you to subscribe, like, share. I love your comments. Those always bless me the most. People are paying attention, people that know something about astrology. So I usually bring everything, the planets, the 12 houses, 12 signs, and try to make sense of it in accordance with your rising sign, your moon sign, or your sun sign, if that's all you know. So, this is for November 12th through the 18th, 2025. And as far as planetary shifts go, there's really not too much to say other than that Jupiter is now retrograde, and Mercury actually went retrograde on Sunday. So that is, Mercury is going to go out of Sagittarius back into Scorpio. So, Mercury in Sagittarius is, it's relatively talkative and open, and, Mercury in Scorpio is a little more secretive and stuff. But there's a lot of memory and creativity and mental resources. And so, you can think of it this way. Maybe there's some things that you needed to get done in October. You weren't able to quite get it done the way you wanted them to be done. And now is, you'll be going through all of that stuff. And then we will have it's always the question is, when does Mercury go direct? I haven't even felt it really, but Mercury will be direct on the 29th. So, 20 degrees Scorpio. So that's interesting news right there. We will have a new moon on the evening of the 19th, next Wednesday. So, but that's about all I have to report. So, with that said, we're going to go sign by sign, beginning with you, Aries. Greetings, Aries. I didn't talk about the moon tomorrow. Moon tomorrow will be in the constellation of Leo all day, and it will go into the sign of Virgo, but it'll still be in the constellation of Leo, and it'll be in the Magha Nakshatra. So that's ancestries and Petries and things like that, and getting people to help you. Many servants with Magha. So, and so anyhow, we'll go back to the Aries forecast. So you've got Mars in the 9th house. So that brings a sense of good fortune, a real sense of adventure, wanderlust. Sun and Venus are in the 8th house. So things are kind of intense in the world of your love life potentially, or you're trying to metaphysically conjure something up right now. And Jupiter in the 4th house, Jupiter in the 4th house can bring happiness at home, bring happiness, good fortune in real estate, and I think that's about all you need to know right now. We'll go to Taurus. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscopes. A very happy time with Venus in your 7th house, as well as the Sun there, so you're in a more balanced, amicable place, and it puts you in more of that mood for love. I guess you'll be more of like a homebody, but you're gonna really, as the moon goes into Virgo today, it's gonna bring you in your heart for your next 3 days. Like, you're just gonna be concerned about your children and about whatever creative expression you have, and all kinds of matters of the heart. And we will just leave it at that. Okay, well, this happened. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So Mercury retrograde, traditionally does a number on the Mercury ruled signs, Gemini and Virgo. And so you probably felt it. I mean, I think it's mainly like watching your health, because Scorpio rules your health, and Mercury is going to eventually get back there. And right now it's in your seventh house, so that's in relationships, contracts, and it is with Mars. And Mars and Mercury, it's kind of easy to argue when they're close together, and this has been going on now for a little while. So try not to take anything so personally. I look at all the, conflict, around the world just over things. And, at the end of the day, most of it is, we all just need a good hug and a good meal, a place to sleep, and just, just a sense of that we're heard. That's about it, Okay. Let's see. Next on the list is Cancer. So, greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. So you've got the good fortune of Jupiter being exalted right now in your first house. So this is a very expansive time. It's a time of intense growth, intense learning. Scorpio time generally is a good time for Cancer because it's heart opening. It deals with children and creative expression. It's a very creative sign. It's also a more emotional, intuitive, imaginative sign. So, that's generally like a turn on for you. Now, Saturn back in Pisces in the ninth house, it's just like there's some hard lessons. Maybe your father's going through something, and you might be needing to help in some way. And it's like a real time to be the bigger person, but you're still having a good time somehow. All right, greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. So if you're like a Leo that was born, say, like the 20th, 21st, 22nd, you're going to wake up Wednesday morning and you'll be like, wow, I'm feeling it today. Like something is going on. Or even 18th, 19th, 17th, 20th, any of those days too. You could be feeling it more through probably about the 29th, 30th of August. Those people too in Virgo will feel it. But so Leo, it's it's you change the way you look at relationships, and you realize that this is a better time for you to stay home, work on projects, and things like that will benefit you. Mercury's retrograde in your fifth house, so maybe you're trying to settle arguments among your kids. It's possible. Okay, we're going to just go right now into Virgo. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Sun and Venus in the third house. Very creative. Work on creative projects, working with your hands, writing stories, making music. Mercury's retrograde, and it's in Sagittarius, going back into the third house. So it's kind of a funny place to be because, in a sense, communication is going to get better because it's in your third house, and there's a lot of memory, and you might be mulling over memory. In fact, I found myself in Virgo rising, and I found myself mulling through, things, seeing pictures of my parents, my daughter when she was younger, and her friends and things like that, and just going, wow, there's this whole there's just lifetimes of experiences there. And but I also found this urgency to journal more and to write about my experiences. I think that's like a really good thing to do for Virgo, especially in the Scorpio season. And as Mercury's going to retrograde back into Scorpio, that is a possibility. And plus, the moon's in your first house today, at least by the time 4 o'clock rolls around. So that's kind of cool, Pacific Coast time. Okay, greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Scorpio represents money, your family relationships, your values, and how you're going to get from point A to B, the things you say, the things you wish you hadn't said. All of that is there. But generally speaking, you have nice things to say. And I mean, outside of spending too much or wanting to indulge in sweets and other kinds of luxuries. I think things are good. Mercury retrograde, still in your third house. So, and I mean, what Libra doesn't like a good argument? You know, I really, at least in the case, oh no, we like peace. I mean, you know, there are Libras that are just kind of like into fake peace, and then there's let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. Remember, most of you folks are Vedic Virgos, so there is this sort of like, well, that's not exactly what it is. and but I think your communication is good right now. Your ability to financially move forward is good. Those are things people care about. Let's go over into Scorpio. Well, greetings, Scorpio, and happy birthday to Scorpios having birthdays. Now, for Wednesday the 12th, that's Neil Young turns 80 years old. I thought that's a big deal. Also, is a late Charlie Manson's birthday, which is kind of a, nobody wants to acknowledge that. But, sometimes people get victims of strange situations and other things start happening that aren't so pleasant where other people get victimized. So let's see, other birthdays. Hey, I'm getting older on Friday. Friday's my birthday.
Mulberry Station.
Mulberry Station.
Stevie Cook band.
Yeah, come on out.
Come on out, $10. There'll be there's wood fire
all
pizza.
The money goes to the band.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'd say this is your season. So between now and the 21st of November, you've got you've got a week and a half to kind of live it up and revel in all your creativity and colors as it comes about. Saturn in the 5th house and Neptune there, kind of conjoined each other. It's like loving your children, seeing them in a spiritual light, beyond their difficulties, also having a spiritual practice that's in your heart and that motivates you to help and serve others, since it's on that cusp of the 6th house. So Mars in the 2nd house with Mercury, it's just like always best to avoid arguments, keep everything chill, yeah. Well, and let's see now. Let's go down to Sagittarius. Okay. So, I mean, Scorpio time for Sagittarius, generally lay low, watch your back. There's a lot of unseen stuff. And, you're only a week and a half away from your time. I mean, Mercury in the 1st house is helping you, but it's retrograde. So, people can break contracts, when this happens. And you have to kind of keep that in mind. And so you have some ambitions. You have to watch your kids. They might have friends that are in shadowy stuff. So this is sort of like, Sagittarius, watch your back season. I mean, we're starting out the day pretty mellow, kind of low key, but you're kind of, it's a performance day for you. I'd say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is sort of like your performance consciousness, and that we have to startle ourselves into doing the right thing. And Jupiter in Cancer, it's the 8th house, so it's like it's allowing other people to help you, and so having an 8th house and 12th house transit at the same time. And fortunately, they're trying each other. There's just a lot of vulnerability, and that's give yourself a break. Practice some self-compassion. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Jupiter remains in your 7th house. That's probably a good thing. I mean, Saturn's what we're interested in. And Pisces, 3rd house. 3rd house is about our environment. It's about our siblings, people we grew up with. What we go through in life, I think generally, I like to think from like 14 to 21. We're just developing from early adolescence to later adolescence and eventually full-on adulthood. And everything, the mind is just soaking up everything as this experience goes on. Scorpio time is a really social time for you. and really better friends show up for you. So you look for your good friends, and your good friends are going to show up for you. And that is and generally a nice beginning of the weekend, and you might be doing some kind of performance over the weekend. Then we go over to Aquarius. So, wake up Wednesday morning, things seem to be overall fairly harmonious, and then by the end of the day, things get a little bit more intense as Moon moves into your 8th house in Virgo. And then in the weekend, it looks like a great weekend for an adventure for an Aquarian because Moon's in Libra, it's in your 9th house. And, Saturn is in your 2nd house, so along with Neptune. So it's kind of like money can sometimes kind of wash away or wash up on shore almost, and you have to sort of like go with the flow, the thing about like liquid assets and how do you turn a little bit into a little bit more, and it requires a lot of imagination. I know you got that, so you're changing your way you look at everything. You have a lot of insights, and you just got to do what you can to stay healthy and help others. That's the real wealth. Okay, now we are in Pisces. So greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. I think having Neptune and Saturn transit in the later degrees, it's a lot. It's a big deal. Those are heavy hitter planets. They've been retrograde a lot, and so there is this sort of feeling of heaviness with Saturn, and there's an uncertainty and a vulnerability with Neptune. So that's real, and I get it. And so you just have to practice patience and, realize that not everything is what everything is, and that most people are just concerned, and find a place of peace. I think you'll feel more peaceful this afternoon into Thursday and Friday, and hopefully, just lay low, give yourself the empathy you need as you go through the weekend. Scorpio time's a good time for you, and that should probably continue. So, thank you, all of you, all 12 signs, for being here, and I look forward to being with you again. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for sharing, thanks for liking and sending me messages. Much love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.